Okie dokie. There we are. Hello, gamers. How we going? What's this? I'm on time? That's crazy. Just finished setting up our base. Okay, let's zoom this in a little bit and get the focus right. There we are. What the fuck? On time? I know! What is this? This is crazy. I even woke up late, I still managed to eat breakfast, get everything set up, and we're here on time. Okay, so, one sec. Yeah, how you going, Francois? Hey, Noah. And I'll just quickly... where are we? Okay. So, yeah, Craftworld Iyanden time. Can we please do the night? Not today, sir. Oh. Oh no, this does not bode well. I feel like this is going to be a sneezing stream. Oh shit. Hello fellow Autark, currently working on some Same Hun Guardians. Ooh, nice. Also, what knights do I have? You want to be sure I've got 2k points? Don't worry, Noah, I do have 2k points. So it's a Knight Errant, there's a second Questoris, there's oh hang on, there's a sneeze. There's four little men, what are they called? Armigers. There's a Lancer, and there's a Acheron. So we do have enough. You heard a sneeze? Yeah, Sundew, it's started. This stream is already cursed. Quote unquote little. I mean, they're little for knights. They're smaller. Okay. First things first. I need to figure out what paint I'm going to use to get the what paint I'm going to use to actually get the nice sort of yellow orange for Iyanden. So I'm going to. I think you can bang them out in a day or two each, to be honest, unless you plan on freehanding them. I'm probably not going to freehand them. I'm thinking that I might do a lot of airbrushing for the knights and mask off patterns, so that I can just, you know, like mask like crosses and shit on them and then airbrush it. That might make it a bit easier and get really clean lines. But yeah, first thing I'm gonna do today is just test out some colors to see if we can figure out how we're gonna get the nice sort of Iyanden orange. So I'm gonna start off with just a little bit of Imperial Fist yellow. We'll do it on the bottom of the feet. think this might be a little too yellow for my liking, just eyeballing it. I have more than 2k points. Yeah, I know. I would take off one of the, yeah, if I remove one of the armigers, then I'm just underneath. Because I can set up the armigers as the warhounds instead. Or not warhounds, that's a titan. What are they called? Just so I know, knights are not titans. The warhound titan is the smallest titan, and we're coming up on the 1,000 sub drunken titan stream soon. I've told you, it's not a titan stream, okay? It is not happening. I'd have to remove 2. No, because I can build them as the melee variants, and then I can build some of them as the melee variants, and then they're less points, and so I'd end up under 2k with 3 of them. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so need to figure out how we're gonna make this more orange, because as it stands, that's quite yellow. Be honest, I could do the KX-139 Titan for the tower. Guys, chill. I'm not doing a Titan. I'm not doing a Titan. Chill out. Should do some custodies. I'm not really all that interested in humanoid models. Like Space Marines and like guardsmen and custodians and sisters of battle and shit. Like none of they're not all that interesting to me. Okay, let's try orange on the other bottom of his foot. Combat Patrol's really good though. Yeah. It's just not interesting to me though. I don't really like... I'm not interested in those guys. Simple as. Okay, I think this might be more the sort of color we want. The issue is it has to be really thin to avoid it being, to avoid it sort of coming up and looking icky. But then I'm also... Bro, eldar, are you humanoid? Yeah, no, okay, so when I say humanoid, I mean like human factions that have human models. So I wouldn't want to do Astra Militarum either. No, I wouldn't want to do Astra Militarum. Okay, I think this is the sort of color we want though. Only thing I'm concerned about is it might sort of lean towards green. What if I put a little bit over the contrast? Oh, hang on. Actually, I think that's what we want. Is the Imperial Fist and then a glaze of this orange over the top of it. Actually puts it into that sort of color that I want. Pure tanks. Okay, maybe the only situation in which I do a guard army is if it's like 10 Lehman Russ tanks. Okay, I need to get a reference for how, like, what color distribution we want to do for these wraiths. Okay, so I'm thinking, but in any case, I reckon what we're doing is the color that I really liked is this one here. So that was Imperial Fist contrast followed by a very thin glaze of this Vallejo orange. You'd play against me, but I'm in Australia. Yeah, it's a bit of, like, living in Australia is a nerf in a lot of ways. Like, it's a bit of a rough spawn. Oh, hang on. My light went a bit weird for some reason there. Okay, hang on. Just need to figure out the right position and then I'll put this back in focus. I'm just adjusting my chair height so that I'm not gonna just destroy my back. Okay, I think this will be good. We'll get this back in focus now. And zoom this out a little bit. You reckon sepia all over Agrax on the shaded undersides, a sharp debone edge highlights? What's my opinion on Canada? I'd say that Canada is the good spawn for North America, to put it diplomatically. As an American in the South, you agree with that take? Okay. I was worried I was going to make a lot of enemies with that one. I think this is all slightly out of focus. Whoops, good thing I looked up. Let's see if we can get this back in. There we are. How many Americans moved to Canada? 0. How many Canadians moved to America? For down one that can afford it. Okay, there it is. That was the sort of response I was expecting. He was just taking some time to type it out. No. Shelly, do you have Riz? I paint Warhammer. What do you think? Brother, I couldn't pull if I tried. In the hobby community, maybe. Promise you're not all salt, there's plenty of piss and vinegar too. Yeah, it's Riz just hasn't painted the Slanesh Lancer yet. That's the Pimp Knight, remember? The Slanesh Lancer is the Pimp Knight. How long does it take on average to paint one of these bad boys? Agent Smith, I would say that most other people can do it at least 6 times faster than I can do it. This is probably going to take me about 15 to 20 streams to paint one of the little guys, and then... no, I don't know. I'm going to find a way to take far longer than I should take. Like, if you're just going to, like, if you're just wanting to push through it, I imagine you can probably smash these out in a couple of hours. Looked at the website where I got these guys. It's funny how they're blatantly ripping off everyone with their designs. What do you mean? As in, how they're just ripping off the GW ones, or are there other people that they're also ripping off? Oh, do you mean like with all of their proxies for GW models and how the names are just like, they're so blatant? And like how the Tyranids are Xenonids and they look like Xenomorphs and that sort of thing? Yeah, the Xenos look like a combination of Gene Stealers and aliens, yeah. It is quite shameless. It's good to take your time. Warhammer stuff looks way bigger on camera. I'm surprised to see how small all the pieces are. Yeah, it's there is like a little bit of a I remember when I first started, I had that moment where I had watched lots of painting videos, and then I went and got my first minis, and I like unpacked them and built them, and I was like, holy shit, how am I going to paint this thing? The 2 models in particular look pretty amazing though. Oh yeah, which ones were you looking at? Because I think at the moment they're running a Ferrous Manus one that they've done. They're knockoff of a Warp Spider Exarch. I haven't looked at the Warp Spider Exarch actually. I might have a look at that at some point if I decide to do more. If I decide to do more Eldar. I need to get through all these rates that I've got at the moment, though. It's something called a Demon Hunter. Also from the Space Elves line. Right, okay, Oh, I think the, is the Demon Hunter meant to be their... Not their Harlequin. It's something like that. I know the one you're talking about, yeah. Rebecca, you'll be back with the exact name. No, yeah, I know the one you're talking about. It's called, it's like the Space Elf Demon Hunter, I think it's called. Am I gonna stream my first game? Maybe. The answer is probably not, honestly. Just because, I'd need to figure out how I'm setting it up and all that sort of thing. Like how I'd set up a camera with my computer nearby in a space that would be large enough. Yeah. It's a dope looking model, I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be used for though. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I don't know what this is. You're going to play a game? Shut up, Gavin. I'm working on it. We'll get there eventually, maybe. When face reveal? I mean, like, my face is on the channel if you want to go digging. It's not exactly something that needs to be revealed. It's not like I'm hiding it. Just directly above the table. Look, I know that I would set the camera up above the table, but it's like, it's not a matter of just putting it above the table. It's like getting it at an angle and then, I don't know. It's like, I'd need to figure it out. But that's probably a while in the future in any case. Worst part is Gavin probably ain't wrong. Come on now. Look, I'll get there eventually. Does anybody I know play 40k? One of my friend's brothers and his friend both play. So I can probably try kidnap them. Just make sure I'm more exciting than the other dorks who record their games. Those people are just lame. Yeah, that's like the one thing as well that I'd be like nervous about is I'm not sure I'd be able to be entertaining while playing a game, or while playing a game over several hours / trying to learn it. What, you're gonna kidnap them? How old are they? Look, they may be they may be younger, but they're adults. It's chill. It's fine. It's fine. I'm pretty sure they're adults by this point. Minus. Look, it's fine. Chill. You said your friend's brother was 12. Don't talk about them and kidnapping him in the same sentence. When did I say he was 12? Did I say he was 12 at some point? I feel like I might have. That does seem like something I would say about him. Two streams ago. I see. You're keeping track. Right now, Lego Star Wars is free on Epic Games. I see. I've never really been a fan of the Lego games. I don't know, just never really got into them. They didn't really click with me. I was never a Lego kid in general. If we're in the same country, yeah, you could get together with me to record again and make sure it's not lame. Nah, unfortunately, I've got the Australia debuff. Which means that I'm just permanently too far away from everybody to do anything of interest. Like, even other people in Australia, it's still just too far away. Because at least in the US, it's like, if someone lives in another city, there's still a good chance that, like, another city is still, like, within a couple of hours, or within, like, an hour or so, you could go to, like, another place with lots of people. Australia is just one major city per state, and we've got this massive landmass and only, like, 6 states or something. How many are there? Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Northern Territory, South Australia, Western Australia, Tasmania. Yeah, because Canberra doesn't count. Fly out to Canada, and Canada's worse if you live up north. I don't know, like Australia, well, I would say that Australia and Canada probably have like similar geographic issues, except Canada is still really close to the US, whereas like the Australian like equivalent of like the like with like how US is like the Canada's neighbor is the US, Australia's equivalent is New Zealand, and it's still relatively far away. At a quadrillion Australian dollar reviews per Lego set, it's no surprise I'm not into Legos. Yeah, it's not even necessarily the price, because like when I was a kid, I just wasn't really interested in them, and I didn't have a concept of money when I was a kid. It's just like I had friends who were into Lego, and I don't know, I just wasn't interested. Depends what part of Canada you're in. Up north, people live like 50 to 100 kilometers from their neighbors. Right. Yeah, I guess that, well, that seems like that's getting into like the living in central Australia, you're like a cattle farmer kind of shit. No concept of money as a kid, that must be nice. Your mum started telling you to go get a job when you were 4. I see. Yeah, no, like when I my because my parents own a hardware store, and so it was like as soon as I turned 13, well, it was like when I was 12 or 13, they're like, "Hey, Jacko, it's time for you to start working at the shop." Um, and so even though I was not technically legal working age, they had me quote unquote helping around the shop, putting stock away, $5 an hour. Not the most legal thing to do, but just get me familiar with the shop until I was legal working age, and then they put me on minimum wage and gave me the uniform. Four-year-olds can still sweep chimneys; they'll be fine. I heard that apparently the small kids are really good for going into like the coal mines, like when you've got the really thin, the really narrow mine shaft. The kids are really good at that. Small hands. Child labor is totally legal there. It's a family business. Oh, if it's a family business, I see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that it's slightly more legal here if it's family, but it's still not entirely legal. Like this, there are still rules around it. But yeah, apparently child labor laws have gotten more more strict in Australia, like since I was in high school, because we've got kids who are like working at our who are working at the shop now. I say kids, they're like 14, 15. And there are like laws on how they can't work more than 4 hours without a full hour, without a full 1 hour break. So we just have we just have multiple kids, and it's just we'll have one of them work the morning, and then they don't get a full day shift. He'll just work the morning, and then he'll swap over with another one at lunchtime. When it comes to kids, you can call me Anakin Skywalker. The younglings, no. Aside from obviously dangerous work, there's no big deal when it comes to children working. People act like young humans working will somehow cause the world to end. Yeah, I think that with the labor laws, it's more just trying to stop them from getting exploited, in terms of like making them work for longer than they should without a break because they don't know better. No one would hire you till you were 8, but you got laid off when you were 12. They gave you a proper route to adults so you could drive the routes. Laid off at 12. That's crazy. Yeah, the excuse is always exploitation from people who've never employed another human being in their life. Yeah, well, I mean, there is genuine grounds for like being worried about exploitation because like 7-Eleven is sketchy as hell. It's like how I'm not sure if you guys have had this over there, but we've had a few things with 7-Eleven where, for example, 7-Eleven hires a lot of immigrants, and so what they had, like, there was a whole thing that came out where what they were doing was they'd pay their employees, and then they'd say to the employees, "Oh, hey, sorry, I overpaid you. Could you just pull out this much money from the ATM and give it back in cash?" And the immigrants were like, oh, okay, I guess, sure, no worries. And so they'd pay the minimum wage and then get them to give back a portion of what they were paid. And I feel like kids could be susceptible to that as well. You tried plain models? They're cheaper. I have not. I think it was my granddad. He did a lot of mini building, and like long before I was into this sort of thing, because he died in 2006. But like, I remember like going around to his house, and he had like the Games Workshop Lord of the Rings Oliphaunt, which was really cool. And he had like he had model ships that he would build, and I think he might have had some planes. But yeah, I remember it was really cool. Yeah, because I remember he had like a massive model ship in a glass case, which is very cool. Before you were born. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm still dealing with the fact that like people like I had to check someone's ID at work a few weeks ago, and he he was born in 2006, and I was like, hang on, that means you're 18. What the fuck? Crazy to me. You're not saying that it's not like you're saying there shouldn't be any laws whatsoever. You're just sick and tired of the Crusaders who think they know better than business owners about every single aspect of their business, how it should be run. Yeah, I can see that. I understand that. Like, it's when just like people who have nothing to do with the topic just try to sort of get involved with it. And try to regulate it. A lot of weird stuff being said in WT right now. What is WT? I'm not hip with the kids. That hurt me to say. War Thunder, right? Okay, okay. Like with the example I use, it's obviously wrong for people to try to steal from their employees by saying they overpaid them. Yeah. Oh, by the way, funny thing about War Thunder, my brother is in the Air Force, and apparently they've had the War Thunder talk in the Air Force. Like they're not allowed to play it, because, or it's like they're not allowed to. They've like been asked if they play it or not, because there's like the whole thing of War Thunder players leaking classified military documents for accuracy. They're like, actually, this tank doesn't work like this because I know that here are the full blueprints of this tank. I drive it. I know how it works. I run a business. No, your employees run a business. You show up for an hour drunk as a skunk and brag to customers that you don't run shit or understand how things get done. I think that depends on the business. Like like my dad is an absolute paragon of the community. Fucking, it's like everybody in the city knows who he is. It's fucking crazy. It's just everyone knows him. And it's like if he goes for lunch, he will get caught like walking down the shopping center and just get stuck for like half an hour as people like stopping him going, "Hey!" It's like, "I really need you to come back. We're really busy inside at the moment." And it's like when I'm working, it'll be like people will stop me and they'll be like, "Oh, are you his son?" I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm the youngest." He's like, "Oh yeah, I've known him since he was this big," or "Yeah, he's been here forever." It's a funny looking xenomorph. Yeah, xenomorph. But there are solid business owners, but your point is that's far from the norm, which is why most small businesses fail within 5 years. I see. Yeah, I don't know about, like, I would say that at least in Australia, most small businesses that I know tend to be pretty good, and they're generally started by people who are passionate about it. And that might also be because wages are quite high in Australia here, so it's not like you can just employ a bunch of people and forget about it. You're sort of forced to, like, if you want to run the business cheaply, it's better for you to just do it yourself and just work everything on your own. Your grandfather's one of those people that everyone knew and loved, at home was a complete scumbag, sadly. Yeah. That is like that sometimes. Yeah, I think I have had a very fortunate spawn. Pretty good family. Pretty good country. Like, country could be better, but family's very good. Honestly, I've been surprised, like, as I've gotten older, for me it's been surprising how few people have good relationships with their parents. I just kind of accepted it as the norm, so I'm quite happy for it. Yo, hey Jesus. Spawn. It is. It is a spawn. You were close to being born rich, but your dad was an impressive idiot with money. Yeah, that's like my grandmother is a chronic gambler. Like, to the degree where for a long time she had like a special card at the casino in the city. It was like she was like a black diamond customer is what they called her. And so it was like she had free parking near the entrance. She had like access to private rooms, and all sorts of crazy shit. I think she didn't have enough money to spend in recent years to keep up that level, that tier of membership. So now I think she's just a diamond. But yeah, it's crazy. Both your grandfathers were drunks. One of your grandmothers was a pillhead and the other was a doormat. Your parents were emotional messes, but did amazingly given the example set for them. I see. Yeah, I feel like it's like only once you like reach adulthood, or at least for me, it's only once I really like reached adulthood where I started like seeing like people around me, like seeing everyone around me. I was like, man, I was really lucky. Interest-only loans are a great way to slowly lose most of your shit. Right. And you used to work at the MGM casino. It was crazy how many people you'd see on a regular basis. Yeah, that's like, for me, like, in the past few months, like, at our family events and stuff, I just remember, like, speaking to my grandma and her partner, and it's like, they will just casually talk about how they were winning things, and it's like, man, how do they not realize that they're not winning? It's like, they not realize, they're like, oh yeah, we had such a good day at the casino the other day, we won $1,000, and it's like, you, like, are they just not conscious of the fact that they are, like, tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars deep at this point? Or do they just try to ignore that to try to justify going back because they get free drinks? I don't know, it's crazy. Casino once a month with cash only isn't bad. Problem is how many people that start with that and slip. Lucky you knew at a young age that it was a rare person who had a worse mum than you. I see. People only think about that one day they win. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's insidious as well because casinos are generally, they're made to have like a 98% return rate overall. So you're not really like, you'll win frequently enough that it doesn't feel impossible, but they just steadily drain you. You have a gambling / money problem? I see. Used to do penny anti-gambling, took $75 with you and left your card at home. It lost its thrill after you had kids though. I decided you'd rather be at home than there. Yeah, that's fair enough. By the way, Jesus, you have a gambling / money problem? Brother, you're always trying to save my wallet. Take care of yourself, brother. There's a reason when we're not allowed to own debt. They don't understand stuff like spent 20k to get a return of 1k. I don't know about I don't know about that. I feel like that's a bit. Given your family's history, you have a tendency to develop addiction, so you stay away from doing anything often. Didn't even drink till you're 19. Yeah, I'd say that one thing for me is, so because my parents have been running this, running our business, like pretty much all my life, it's been really stressful for them. We've had some rough patches, and so they do drink a fair bit. And for me, it's just been like seeing them drink. I've been like, okay, I don't think I need to drink. I've avoided it. And then also because my family has a history of schizophrenia, I've like avoided things like weed when my friends have been doing weed and that sort of thing. Like my friends were doing like weed and LSD in high school sometimes. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. I will just watch out for you guys at the party and make sure you don't walk onto the road. In America, 86% of debt is owned by women. I can't speak to that stat, but if that's true, then I would be thinking about the underlying factors like single mothers and that sort of thing, who are then forced to take on debt in order to provide. Like, I'm sure there are a lot of factors that would contribute to that if that is if that number is correct. Every time you get a paycheck, Steam notifications popped up with about with a 20 plus with about 20 plus games on discount. I see. Yeah, thankfully I've never really been a huge gamer. Like, I'm a gamer, but I don't play single player games. Because for me, like, I get the most enjoyment out of playing video games, like from playing with friends. So I don't buy games that often. I'm wondering if maybe I should have airbrushed this contrast paint onto him as well. You're a gamer, they just don't bring out anything worth buying. True. Games industry has been in free fall for about 10 years. GTA 6 is about the only one you can think of. Red Dead 3 in 2048. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while before we get any more good games. I didn't end up playing Red Dead 2 because, yeah, like I said, like my big thing is playing games with friends. So yeah, never really did much with Red Dead. I remember I had Red Dead 1 and the Undead Nightmare DLC on Xbox 360. That was fun. too many game companies run by people with no respect for the medium. The issue is that I think that the games industry has ballooned to the point where, since so many game companies are publicly traded, it's now a very big thing of shareholder interests and trying to make something with as broad a appeal as possible. And so it's just pumping out slop that that lots of people will buy, and then pumping out the next game. And there's so little focus on like games as a medium, and so that's why you get like all the really cool game experiences are from indie studios now, is because indie devs are like the only people who sit down and they're like, what is it, like what is a game, and they think about like really cool shit, like how can we make a game that plays like physically plays differently to any other game. And you get really cool shit like Inscription. Fucking love that game. Like I think the really cool games to keep an eye out for are indie games that try to redefine what a game is, because that's like where you see really cool innovation and stuff, rather than just X game, like X RPG, where it's like you've played the game 10,000 times. The only thing that's different is the story and the graphics. Outer Wilds has yeah. Outer Wilds is fucking phenomenal. Like just the fact that it's this game, that it's a puzzle game where you could theoretically finish the game first try by complete accident. Like it's a puzzle game where there's nothing stopping you from just going straight to the end and finishing the game without like clearing all of the puzzles to begin with. Like the only thing that you get from finishing the puzzles is knowledge on how to progress. You could theoretically progress without that knowledge by complete accident. I think that's so cool. Shame that studio fucked up and everyone left. Oh, I heard about that, yeah. Was it Obsidian? I don't know, was it Obsidian? No, Obsidian was Outer Worlds, wasn't it? Not Outer Wilds. Obsidian was different. But Obsidian also had issues. Have I checked out Balatro? I have a friend who's really into roguelikes and he fucking loves Balatro. I haven't touched it. I like roguelikes enough, but they're not really my speed because I generally like gripping, well, I say grip. I generally prefer tight gameplay experiences, ones that like compel you to play more. And so a lot of the time I won't really touch roguelikes because they just feel like time sinks. I would say that the roguelikes that I've put the most time into are The Binding of Isaac, FTL, and Slay the Spire. Those are my top 3 roguelikes that I've put time into. And all 3 of those games are great. Love them. Ultra Kill is still in development, but it's a good game. I didn't realize Ultra Kill was still in development. I assumed it was full release because of how well it was received. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Ultra Kill. And I've got like younger cousins who are like really young cousins who fucking love that game. The strange looking club my Wraithlord has. The axe, do you mean? Oh, the Wraithlord. Oh, are you just talking about the robe in the, in that's out of focus? Marvel Rivals is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I downloaded Marvel Rivals last night because some of my friends were starting to play it, and I remember that I used to play Overwatch quite a lot when it first came out. I liked Overwatch initially, so if Marvel Rivals manages to scratch that itch, that could be fun. Doesn't axe normally have a blade? That thing looks blunt as fuck. Well, look, okay, I guess it is quite blunt, isn't it? Look, it's a it's a block splitter, maybe. Look, it's a magic axe, Francois. It doesn't cut with an edge, it cuts with wizardry. It's elven witchcraft. It's blunt from all the skulls he's bashed in. It's a war wedge. How goes it, Sir Iron Shell and fellow heathens? How you going, Senator? I am going all right. Now that it's in focus, it looks real bad. Look, there's a reason that I equipped most of them with the swords rather than the axes. Although the swords are not the sharpest either. It's okay though, it's elven wizardry. Let's just leave it at that. Elven heresy, more like it. Why aren't you? Full noodle driven with enough force could theoretically kill. Yeah, maybe, look, this guy's just really strong. He doesn't need an edge. Because maybe what it was sharpened, but he was swinging it so hard that he just smashed the edge off it. And so it's just, he hasn't changed the axe out. He was just swinging so hard that he's stronger than the axe could withstand. I checked out any D&D alternatives like Can and Whitebox. No, I'm not familiar with either of them. I'm currently waiting for the MCDM RPG Draw Steel to get a full release. I've got high hopes for that one. but I'm not familiar with Can or White Box. At the moment, with my D&D group, we're playing Fabula Ultima and Cloudbreaker Alliance, enjoying both of them. I believe Cloudbreaker Alliance is still in playtest. It's killing so fast that the edge overheated and melted. True. That's what it is. Bro needs to buy a whetstone. No, he just needs to kill some Necrons and sharpen it on their corpses before they despawn. Everyone's like, take a break and sharpen your axe. He's like, nah, I'll just swing harder. Pull a Glavenus and sharpen it with his own teeth. Who is Glavenus or Glavenus? Or Glavenus? Or Glavenus? They're just simplified versions of original D&D? I see, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my issues with D&D are more specific, more fundamental to just the way that the game is structured. I think that D&D is fine if you want a crunchy war game, like, but at the same time, 5th edition is just there's just no challenge to it. Like, you need to work really hard to make it challenging. And it's just not suitable as a... It just doesn't really work as a roleplay system. When you ask for Eldar, Mum says we have space elves at home. Okay, come on. I think these Wraithguard are so cool compared to the default Wraithguard. Like, the default Wraithguard are neat, but I think these guys are sick. These space elves at home are so good. I love them. Like, if these are space elves at home, I don't want the real ones. Isn't White Box a replica of the very first one? Oh, okay. So is White Box built to be like like a full-on dungeon delver? Because that would be cool. I don't think I've played a TTRPG that was like a full-on dungeon exploration game. Because I feel like that would have been a very cool era to experience in tabletop gaming. Was like the whole era of DMs have their own dungeon, like their own personal dungeon that they've made, and you just show up at the table and try to clear their dungeon, and like you get like 4 floors deep and you've got 20,000 copper pieces that you need to get to the surface somehow. Glavenus is a T-Rex with a sword tail. Right. What is it from? D&D 5e is totally fine if you just stay away from pre-made adventures. I reckon that I had good fun with my friends in Icewind Dale. I think that was quite a fun pre-made adventure. My issue with D&D 5e is, as a DM, it's just such a high effort game to prepare and run for the amount of reward you get out of it. Just because the like the rule set is not really that conducive for generic fun. Like if you're going to be running it as a role-playing game, there are better systems that you could do, like Call of Cthulhu, which are just more, they have roleplay better baked into them. And if you were going to be running it as a war game, then it's just like, if you're looking for something that's going to be challenging, 5e is not it, because the way that monster stat blocks are structured, they're designed to just be health sponges and smack you really hard. So if you want to challenge your players, you need to, like, if you want to challenge your players without running the risk of one-shotting them, you need to throw lots of units at them, but then that bogs down action economy, and it's like, it's just such a painful balancing act. There was a commemorative replica of the very first set at one point, and it came in a white box. You actually have the three rule books from the very first release, part of your collection. Oh, cool. "5 years in miniatures sale driver, and that would be fine if D&D didn't have such an important heritage." Is it really even miniatures that Wizards make most of their stuff off? I feel like it would just be the rule books, because they just pump out these like shit like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. Like, they just pump out shit so that players buy it. They don't make content for DMs because only one DM buys the book. But if they make content for players, then everybody buys that. Like, every player wants to buy Tasha's, every player wants to buy Fizban's, every player wants to buy Xanathar's. And if they make it so that in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, you get all the overpowered subclasses, there's no reason not to. Why would you make a monster book when you could make a subclass book instead? Rulebooks have always been key, but they've attached minis, battle maps, etc. on top of that. Now they're trying to go subscription service. Yeah, the D&D Beyond shit is just, it's gross. And also, like, what they've been doing with, like, 1D&D or whatever they're calling it now is, like, it's so nasty. I am not a fan. It's very icky. Like, I think my like, D&D started to lose its gloss for me around the time when the license thing was happening a couple of years ago. What's it called? Like, when the third-party licensing thing was happening, where they were essentially trying to revoke everybody's rights to use the stuff from the D&D core rules, or like the free rule set, in third-party content. As a forever DM, you just buy every book so that your players don't have to buy anything but dice and a notepad, no apps allowed at your table. Yeah, I mean, that was me as well. Like, I bought all the books up until whatever was before Tasha's, and then it was just like I was going through it and I'm like, is this really worth the investment for me? And it wasn't, so I stopped. The OGL scandal, that's the one. Yeah, the OGL was around about when I like that was, I think I'm describing the D&D made for people with brain rot. No, I'm talking about OGL. And so for me, it was like the whole OGL issue was a thing where I was like, man, okay, this is, wizards are just shameless. And so I was just, it was starting to lose my gloss around then. Or so it was starting to lose its gloss for me around then. And then it was like, I was stopping to think about like, do I really enjoy playing D&D that much? Or are there other systems that I could move over to? And so I was looking at things like Pathfinder. Never went over to Pathfinder though. I think that it, I'm sure it's a fun system that a lot of people enjoy, but I think it's a little too rules heavy for me. There are cool aspects about it, which I like on paper, like how players are actually rewarded for being good at skills and punished if they're not good at skills, because proficiency bonuses get like that end up being like upwards of 10, whereas like in D&D it's like, oh, the barbarian can roll a history check and roll an 18, and then that's high enough to pass, like most things. Whereas if the wizard rolls a 2, then that's boosted only to like a 7 at best. Whereas like in Pathfinder, if the barbarian rolls an 18, he gets an 18, and the wizard rolls a 2 and he gets like 16 or something. Like, and it's still much more comparable. Pathfinder, it's D&D but rated G for children. I don't know about that. I would say that Pathfinder is the more complex game nowadays. I don't know about the rating either. Like, D&D 5e is 100% G rated. That shit is so tame now. I understand you might have like, you might have memories of D&D, but like, well, let's say otherwise, and you might run your D&D differently. But D&D 5th edition is the most tame, most neutered system I think I've seen in a long time. Like, D&D out of the box is crazy. D&D 5e is pretty PG. Yeah, like, I think it's just like a matter of how modern RPGs are now, or at least modern mainline ones. Is like a very big thing of it. I guess it comes back to like what we were saying about the gaming industry earlier. Is it's just like once you get a publicly traded company with big enough what's it called? Investor interests. That's not the term I'm looking for. What was the term? I used it earlier. But basically, like, once you get to a certain point and, like, you are just focusing on what the investors want, it's just like, okay, we're just losing the soul of the game because we're focusing purely on profits. Now, Hackmaster is hardcore. Literally ridiculously hardcore. What is Hackmaster? D&D out of the box doesn't have the same out of the box Pathfinder rules, like no murder hobos, no PvP, no stealing from party members, no racist characters, etc. I see. Sure. I feel like they don't really need to say that. I feel like that's a culturally accepted set of rules. Pathfinder could be great if it wasn't for the Pathfinder community. I don't know anything about the Pathfinder community, so I can't speak to that. Packmaster is what happens when someone gets the rights to AD&D and second edition and crams nearly every rulebook ever published into 3 core books. Right. No dwarves hating elves is culturally acceptable, but not in Pathfinder. It's like D&D, but more work than D&D. I see. I think that there's like, I think that a degree of fantasy racism is fine. Like, I would say that there's like a degree of like the whole no murder hobos, no stealing from players, avoid, like, no PvP. I think that all of these are fine things to say. And again, the rules are not hard and fast rules, they're guidelines. Like, it's up to every table whether or not they use rules. And nobody reads the entire rulebook. Technically, that's speciesism, not racism. All right, because D&D renamed races to species as well, didn't they? That's another thing I'm not a fan of with what D&D is doing now. Is there's like they're removing like racial traits and making it so that you just spec into the stats you want instead. And it's like, look, I think it makes sense. It is good that if I'm playing an orc, I have higher strength than normal. Like, if I'm an orc wizard, I should be stronger than the gnome wizard. I think that's just how it should go. There's only one social rule at game table, Wheaton's Law. What is Wheaton's Law? I'm gonna get the Agrax Earthshade out, see if we can get some darker patches. I think I'm blind, I can't see it. It's in here somewhere. There we are. Wheaton's Law, don't be a dick. It was coined by Will Wheaton. I see. It's good if you're playing an orc that NPC elves dislike you, adds character to the game, pushes plot lines, and stimulates action players. Pathfinder has none of that. But I don't think that it should necessarily be a universal rule that elves hate orcs. I think that it should be decided on by the DM, what races have certain, like what races have what relations. But yeah, I think that like emergent fantasy racism is fine if it like makes sense in the world. I think probably what Pathfinder was trying to say no to, without knowing anything about it, is they just wanted to avoid people just for no reason being like, oh, I'm playing a human who his whole thing is he hates elves because they are knife ears and hug trees. But I mean, like, I am 100% down for, like, dwarf-elf rivalries and that sort of thing. But again, like, I think that's probably just, like, their, what do you call it? Basically, PR speak that they had, that they was kind of just putting in the book to cover their asses. Okay, what do we think? I think the Earthshade will be good for some of the darker areas. So what I might do is I'll do the orange first, and then we'll come back with the Earthshade to get our shading. I don't know if they renamed it species for D&D, but it's very correct. That's why some early games use the term kin or kindred. Right, okay. It's a dumb limitation to put on someone's character, though. Say, be evil, go ahead and take slaves to market. There's plenty of paladins to hunt you down if it becomes a problem for you as a DM. Yeah, sure. I think that the reason they put those things there is because they don't want a bunch of, like, a group of 5 people to start playing and then to encounter situations where people are doing shit that other people are not comfortable with. I think it comes down to they are addressing this to a table of people who have never played the game before, probably never played an RPG before, and don't understand that certain people have different things that they want to see in games, like in an RPG. And so they're just trying to set it up so that, like, a group who knows nothing about RPGs doesn't end up stepping on each other's toes. That's the sort of reason that I would see that in there, because anybody who's played an RPG before is naturally going to ignore half the shit in the book because they know how all this works. Became a fan of it when you played Middle-earth for role-playing, since there were varying races of men, elves, dwarves, etc. Right, okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's rated G. It's for noobs who are used to being fed a plot by video games. Pathfinder sucks. I mean, we can go back to, if we're going back to rating, D&D is the same in terms of, like, being incredibly tame and PC. D&D is exactly the same. Like, D&D, like, has been subtly writing out or overlooking all the reasons why subtly writing out all the reasons for why certain things exist. Like, they don't really talk about how half orcs come to be, or how half orcs came to be, and they sort of don't really talk about the fact that full orcs are like more like wild people, like barbaric. D&D doesn't have that crap written into the rule books, though. It does, though. Like, not in the rule books, but they're like the fundamental structure of like races and monsters. They like are writing out all of the distasteful parts. You started beginning to think that Francois dislikes Pathfinder. Where are you getting that idea from? Evil is okay, chaotic good is more fun. Like, how much torture is too much torture? True. Yeah, I think this is the sort of orange that I want to have for the for my Iyanden. Just need to work on getting it smooth. No one will ever accuse a Francois of not speaking his opinion. No, he is probably the most open person here. Brother says it how it is. You like your medieval fantasy, like in the real Dark Ages, when everything was caked in mud, feces flowed the streets in town, everyone was covered in swords and pustules, every road had cannibal murder hobos. Okay, I don't think the medieval times had cannibal murder hobos on every street, but I do see the aesthetic you're going for, and that is a very cool aesthetic. I do like dark fantasy and like gritty fantasy. Maybe not every road. Just most of them. Modern London. And it's hard to get this this orange to go on smooth, like thick enough to tint it without sort of getting streaky. Glad I'm trying this out on one with an axe first, because the axe ones are the ones that I care about less. The Sawney Bean clan. I'm not familiar with the Sawney Bean clan. Making your players uncomfortable, you weed them out immediately. First adventure you ran was, for your players was in a kidnapping. Then the slave caravan is attacked by gnolls on the road. Their caged wagon goes off the road, clashing down a giant hill, severing. Do you just one coat of paint? It depends. I am currently, because I'm doing really thin coats here, I'm figuring out how many coats of orange I want to put over the yellow here. I'm thinking that I'll need to do a couple of really thin coats. It's kind of tricky, this one here, because I need this coat to be really thin in order to tint it, but at the same time, if I go too thin, it's barely visible. You prefer that intro to You're in a Tavern when blank happens? Yeah, I think that both are fully valid or viable. I think that the tavern start can be interesting or can be fun because it's a cliche. But yeah, jumping straight into the action is a lot of fun as well. That's where they find they also have a bunch of human women chained up that they've been breeding with. Right. I generally tend to avoid topics like rape, just because it's like, I don't know, it just feels a bit weird to write about. Inbred cannibal family that lived in a sea cave and attacked people living by the highway, likely on the legend, but still morbidly interesting. Right, I see. The more you know. Sorry, but gnolls are evil. You know what evil looks like to me, but in your D&D evil, evil is fucking evil. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just tend to avoid things like rape because I feel like it's hard just to write about without it coming off as sort of gross. And I understand that the point is for it to be gross, but I don't know. It's just a bit iffy for me to write about because it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm there with my players and my players are like with my friends and I like they know that I wrote this and I know that I wrote this and it's like, ugh. It's like I can't really bring myself to do it. Only time you played D&D, it was painful. Every decision would take 30 minutes and end up being a troll. The people in that group had a collective of 3 brain cells, you swear. There's a split in the path, choose left or right, only for the path to join up again in 20 steps. The painter analog horror rings a bell right now. Yeah, the illusion of choice is often a strong one. Upsetting and unnecessarily graphic are not necessarily the same thing. I guess. if you ever play D&D again, they better have a time limit. Motherfuckers spent 2 hours on deciding whether or not to take a quest. Yeah, that was one of the tough things for me as a DM was since I have a lot of friends who wanted to play D&D, it'd be like 6 players and they'd all disagree on what to do. And it's like, guys, please just get a move on. I understand that I need to be pushing this along, but there's only so much I can do. And I'll like try to push it along, and then it can get taxing with large groups especially. But the issue is like I'm the only person in my friend group who ever wants to, or whoever like will DM, and so it's like it's hard to like, and I don't want to run multiple games, so split the group up, and I don't want to exclude people. So it's just a matter of like, okay, we have this mega group of people, and it just gets bogged down so easily. Had a campaign split in 2 because 2 people wanted pure lawful good play, while you and another player went chaotic evil. Your campaign was more interesting for the DM. You tied a ferryman to a chair and beat him until he gave us everything because he tried to get a bribe. What the fuck? Sort of like how paladins are lawful good, but in your game lawful is often very dystopian and as good as subjective. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like, well, yeah, like the whole thing with alignment is like, alignment is really iffy in general. The Spanish Inquisition was lawful good. Well, I think the good is debatable. Depends on who you ask. But they were lawful. He was saving the world and low on cash, so it wasn't necessarily evil. What was the greater good and all? We're the good guys, I promise. Lovely guys, the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, no one expects them. Man, what is with my camera's color balance right now? It's gone all weird. They only changed the rules ever so slightly for what was considered killable. Oh, so you converted? Well, your mother had to convert before you were born. Bye-bye. Yeah. Thankfully, I never had any run-ins with the Spanish Inquisition, so I can't speak too much as to their methods. Hey, hey, Dipper of Nugs, how you going, mate? That 60-watt frosted bulb I've got in my desk lamp. It's well, it's LED, so I don't know. I think it's probably the equivalent of like a 40-watt or so. But yeah, I could not imagine trying to work underneath a like a halogen or an incandescent bulb for this long. It would get so hot. Because like touching the LED, even touching the LED bulb, it's already quite warm. You say it again. You want a 100-watt clear incandescent bulb? No, I will incinerate myself if I do that. I am not working underneath a 100-watt incandescent. Holy shit. Whenever you go to Edinburgh, you see all the statues and monuments made for the progressives during the Enlightenment, and then you remember a very famous Spanish painting during the same time. No longer afraid of character models after painting your magnum opus, Lord Solar, so when you start the line, you'll be ready. Nice. You've only built 2 models from your Christmas box so far. You've built models from your Christmas box? Gooning stream? When? Who said we haven't been already? Oh man. Oh. You love building models. Your pile of shame is more than a man. Is more a mound of models than a pile of sprues. I see. Yeah, I would love to build more models, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot of space to put the assembled models. I'm having to paint the ones that I've already built. You got a stackable shoebox holder, you use that to store models. Yeah, I don't have anything like that. Fits all but your knights. Man, I don't know how I'm going to get this nice and smooth. I'm really struggling to get a smooth finish on this. I think I just need to go a lot thinner than I've been painting. Yeah, it needs to be way thinner than what I've been doing, I think. It's frustrating because I've kind of made a mess of it already. I'm glad I started on one of the models I don't care about as much, though. Blech. Have I painted any old world Warhammer? I have not. They're the ones with the square and rectangular bases, aren't they? Totally not biased, but black, purple, and brass is the best scheme. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty cool one. Can't go wrong with House Orlak. Need a little bit more paint on our wet palette. Yeah, I really need to thin this down a lot. Because it ends up so thick otherwise. Because I really don't want this to be orange. I want it to be just a very slight tint. You're currently freehanding gold vines on the armor plates, keeping it simple as the Dominus is already busy. Gold vines would be very cool. Thank God nothing you paint uses a lot of yellow or orange. Yeah, I feel like this is a good learning experience, figuring out how to work with yellow and orange tints, or yellow and orange pigments, because they are a little bit dicey to get smooth, even with very thin paints like I'm doing on a yellow or on a white base. Like the yellow contrast was fine, it worked really well, it was nice, but it's because this isn't a contrast that I'm using the orange here. So it's very very painful. I think I'm doing better on this leg than I did on the first one. Yeah, this is definitely more the color that I want. The first leg is pretty much just straight up orange, where the second leg we're getting that more yellow look. Oh, this is a tricky one here. Because since I'm working with such thin paint, it dries really quickly. So if I accidentally get it in a spot where I don't want it, it can dry and smear it really nastily. Okay. So it's both the legs done-ish, kind of. Yeah, hopefully once I finish this first Wraith Guard, I'll have figured out exactly how I'm going to paint these guys, and then the subsequent ones should be a bit quicker. It's just a matter of figuring out how we're gonna, like, figuring out the process. It's knights or nothing. Here are, trust me, I've got a lot of knights on the back burner. I've got a lot of knights on the back burner. Yeah, I was considering, like, when I was scheduling this stream last night, I was considering doing the knight again. But then I was like looking at how much of my desk space was taken up by other minis that I've built but just haven't painted. And I was like, okay, I need to at least try to clear up a little bit of desk space. Combat patrol arrived today and you're going to say you're a bit scared, not going to lie. What combat patrol did you end up getting, sorry? Was it Templars? so many bits and they look way bigger when you're looking at them online. Yeah. Like, this is a pretty big mini, but like, this is like the size of a standard Space Marine fully assembled. He's like, easily fits in my palm. You got Templars, yeah. They do be small. Do you do the cock banner today? Do the cock banner, Sunju. Go for it, brother. Yeah, I am not looking forward to doing the cock banner on my knight because I know it's going to mean more freehanding. Got some, oh, you got transfers for all like, but it didn't come in the color you wanted, so you have to paint over anyway. Rip. How many factions have I painted, and which ones do I think it's easier to paint? I've painted Tau, Necrons, Tyranids, Space Marines, Skaven. And I'm working on a knight. I think that's all of the ones that I've painted so far. I would say out of them, the Tau and the Space Marines have probably been the easiest ones that I've painted. Just because the models are simple shapes. Actually, oh, the Tyranids were probably... The Tyranids felt easy. I don't know if I'd say they are easy. They definitely felt easy because you don't need to worry too much about being messy with them. Because they're all organic forms and that sort of thing, you can afford to just be like sort of splotchy in your paint coverage and it looks good. Nids a dry brush heaven for flesh and messy scale highlights. Yeah, I would say that Tyranids are definitely like you can just go crazy with them. Just sort of not really worry too much about being neat, and it just still looks good because they are gross bugs. So it's less noticeable when you have imperfections on their carapace as opposed to if you have imperfections on like clean armor paneling. You can make Nids easy. You'd say Marines are the easiest. Yeah, like the thing is that Marines have such simple flow on their models. Like they're just really readable. So it's I had a really good time just sort of painting the different sections of them. But you can make any model as hard as you want if you decide to pick out every single detail you see, like I do. You can paint Ultramarines with a paint roller. True. Ultramarines, you actually just dunk them into the blue paint pot. You happy with your way of painting nids? Feels quick and looks pretty good. Yeah, no, your nids look really good, Sunji. 'Marine subassembly, spray paint base coat, wash, dry brush, GW layer paint, dry brush highlight, paint gun, add decals, and base. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to go about it, but yeah, Marines in general are just quick and easy for the most part. I say this as I spent like 30 hours painting 10 of them, so take this all with a grain of salt. I say quick and easy, I mean, like, absolute bare minimum 3 hours a mini for me. Was probably more than that. Ten Termagants. This is my this is my my 10 Infernus Marines. It was probably more than 30 hours. Yeah, you paint like old people. Fuck. True. Lovingly. Only 30, let me go count the backlog. Oh, please don't. I know it's going to end up being way more than that. I already know. It's going to end up like 60 or 70 hours. Your Stern Guard took like 10 hours easily. I guess that's more the learning curve than anything. Including building or just painting? Just painting, please. Building would add an unnecessary insult to injury. Adds 4 more hours. Do I play Kill Team? I do not. I have not played any any Warhammer tabletop. I think this is coming along all right. I think I've definitely gotten better at painting smooth coats of the orange. There's still bits that I struggle with, but I think we're getting better. It's very much a matter of just keeping track of where where the paint is pooling as I go. To be fair, 32.5 hours. Oh wow, I was on point with it. Still not based where I wasn't off. Oh right, yeah, they're not finished. Yeah, I haven't based them. I haven't based a lot of minis that I've painted since I started streaming. It ain't finished till it's based? No. Eurotyrant took the longest for a Nid note. Yeah, that is definitely the longest Tyranid I've painted. No, base, I'm already based enough. Thank you, Agent Smith. I appreciate it. Want me to count 9 hours? Please, no. Please. That's at least 70 hours. Like, painting alone, at least 70 hours. Holy shit. That would actually break me. Be right back. Oh, God. Oops, you missed 3 hours on the Dark Angels. Damn it. Damn it. No. Why? Why did the battery run out? It's plugged in. What? Is it... Yeah, what? This never happens. Excuse me? No way. It was plugged in and everything. What is going on? I am furious. I am so mad. How do we go 5-hour streams, 6-hour streams, plugged in and everything, no issues. Today, plugged in, charging, 2 hours and 20 minutes. 2 hours. This never happens. Look, Francois, it has never died on me while it's been plugged in and charging. I was prepared. I was awake on time. I started the stream at on time, on the to the minute. It was plugged in, air conditioners on. It's not overheating. It should be fine for battery, and it still dies. What am I meant to do? What? Come on. I'm trying my best here. This is fucked up, guys. Like, I've done everything I could. Crying right now, crying in the toilet. I'm crying. I'm crying. What did I do to deserve this? About 89 hours on the night right now. You have faith in 100. That's fucked up. Completely wrong. My, excuse me. Huh? Look, hey, Sanji, I can make up for it. You don't have my hands to go to, but what if I just get it a little bit closer to the microphone like this, and just drop my voice down a little bit lower? Does this help you? Does this help a little bit, or do you really need the hands to get yourself going? Alright, I'm moving back. That was enough. I hurt myself with that. I had like the feedback coming through into my headphones, and it was not worth it. Made me a little bit awkward doing that. Don't think we need to do that again for a little while. Already finished. Alright, we'll give the camera a little bit more time to hopefully get some precious little bits of charge in it, and then we'll see if we can turn it back on. You have your mother cry doing that. Thankfully, I don't think she watches my streams, so we should be chilling. Guess I gotta stop buying Warhammer to get a new camera now. No, it's not the camera's fault. I don't know. Okay, it might be the camera's fault. I don't know why. Like, seriously, it's a relatively new camera. Like, I don't know what's happened to it. I don't know why it decided to just give up the ghost right now. You're about 120 on Unite. You have about half an hour of touch-ups till it's done. I see. That camera never had the making of a varsity athlete. This camera is... I don't know why he ran out of... He's just run out of juice. Just decided he was done. Alright, let's see. Come on, camera. Show us what you've got. Please turn on. Okay, we are back in business. For how long, I do not know. But we are here, and we shall do what we can to finish painting this fucker before it dies again. There we are. Think you're maybe 40, 50 hours into yours, still have a lot to do. You will probably still finish your night before I do, Sunju. It's just how it is. I'm just cursed to spend far, far longer than I should have to painting relatively simple things. Case in point, I've been painting this guy yellow/orange for 2.5 hours now. This is just the base coat. They haven't even started the weapons in the base. Still isn't finished before priming. I mean, you never know. Like, I am a slow bastard. Yeah, you see the axe? They weren't kidding. it's a bludgeoning tool. By the way, completely off topic, but I was thinking about all those Tau battle suits that I got, and about how I was going to be painting them red, and then I realized that I don't have Commander Farsight, which would be a shame, honestly, because, you know, like, if I'm painting the Farsight Enclaves, you kind of need Farsight. But the issue is I've got so many minis on the backlog already. Do we think that if Commander Farsight were to join the ranks of the minis that I need to paint, it would be better to do that later? Motherfucker! Motherfucker. I am fuming. I am so angry. Just one guy shouldn't be bad? Yeah, surely, right? But more importantly, I am actually so furious. I am going to find the person who designed the Sony fucking ZV-10, and I am going to tear his fucking head off. I am going to... I'm going to commit unspeakable acts upon this man. Or woman, I don't know, could have been a woman. I'm going to commit unspeakable acts on this person. Whoever was behind the idea that... Whoever decided that the camera needs to run off battery power, it can't just run off wall power if it's plugged in. That person, the worst. They deserve the worst. I've just laid a curse upon their bloodline. The question is, will the cost of the model go down or up next year, even if inflation is reduced? Will there still be some inflation or not? Yeah, we'll have to wait to see. I'm going to commit unspeakable acts on a woman. I'm going to commit unspeakable acts on a person. There's just even just appeared in your room. Imagine inflation reducing. Yeah, no shot. That is definitely not happening. It's called inflation. That is the wrong answer. The answer is always inflation. The cost only goes up. True. And wages never outpace cost increases. Just about, I'm doing on the rate where I'm at the moment, I'm just painting the last of the 6 little spokes on his back, like on the vents that he's got. I'm doing the last one. And then I'll probably come back through with Agrak's Earthshade to do the underside shading bits. Just to give it a bit more depth. And not sure where we'll go from there. Not sure if we'll go straight to doing the blue on the helmets or the other details. Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. Although I think might save the blue till next time, because with how the camera is behaving, I probably won't drag the stream on for too much longer. Won't go for like an extra hour or so. So we'll probably go for one more life cycle of the camera. We'll give it a little bit more time to charge, and then we'll see how long we can get out of it. Someone power the camera, please. I'm working on it. Hold your horses. You're about to start painting and you require me to be live. So now that I'm monetized, how long will it take for my channel to pay for a new camera? Again, I'm not monetized yet, Francois. I don't have enough watch hours. But also, this is a new camera. It's a good camera. It's just the battery is fucked for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it just doesn't like to stay the fuck on. I think it just mustn't have charged yesterday. Like, I mustn't have left it plugged in for long enough after the stream to charge. But we'll see. We'll keep going until it dies once again. It's a mid camera. It's a good camera. I don't know why. It's just temperamental. An extra battery. I don't know if the battery is replaceable. Surely it is. Hang on. Is the battery on this thing replaceable? It is, okay. Yeah, maybe a spare battery would be a good investment. Okay. But let's get some Agrax Earthshade on this bitch. Let's make him look a little bit dirty, a little bit dark on the undersides. I don't know what that voice was. I don't think I need to do that one again. We'll do like the undersides of his shoulder pads here. Maybe that's a bit much. Just pull it back a bit. How many more watch hours do I need? I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'll have a quick look. We're not too close. I'm pretty sure you've still got a decent bit to go. I'll do a few more bits of Agrax Earthshade here, and then I'll check my YouTube studio and see. I need to make 2 to 3 of my longer videos into a 12-hour video, something we can throw on when we go to sleep or work. It's all good. Like, I'm not in any particular rush to get to monetization. Like, we'll get there when we get there. How long would it take me to paint one Marine? Probably around 3 to 4 hours, personally. Like, if I was, like, just a Space Marine. I think that's what it averaged out to on my, my 10 Infernus Marines. Because I painted 10 of them in 36 hours or so, I think we worked out. Maybe it was around 40 hours. Regardless, it was, like,
3 to 4 hours per Space Marine is what I managed. And I think that about tracks for when I first started painting as well. When I painted a like Tau Stealth battlesuits, I think overall it was around 4 hours per battlesuit. That's crazy? As in that's crazy fast or crazy slow? But the thing is, like, it all comes down to like how much effort you want to put into them as well, because you could paint them really, really quickly if you wanted to just get a shitload of them done so that you could play the game. You thought about trying gaming YouTube videos just to earn back money that you kept spending on Steam? Yeah, I think well, actually maybe not, but I definitely had like the period where I made some gaming YouTube videos. I think I've got them on this channel. I had a different channel initially, like when I was in school, but I forgot the password to it. So then I made a new channel, which is this one, and I did a couple of gaming videos on this one, but that was more just like a hobby, like sort of thing. I wasn't trying to do anything with it. I was just like, oh, I like editing, and I've recorded myself playing League with the boys and playing Apex and stuff, and so I thought I'd edit them. Remember, I picked out details you've never seen anyone else in your life pick out. Look, if they're molded, that means they're meant to be painted, Sunju. That's how it is. And I will not hear otherwise. They're there to be painted. Okay. I think this Earthshade should help build some definition. I just want to make sure it doesn't pool too much. If it pools too much, then it can look really gross when it dries in like globs. Just want to hold it upside down here so that it stays flowing into the bits that I want it to flow into. I wonder if I should just full on coat his feet with the Earthshade. Just kind of see if we can pull back the stark orange a little bit. I guess it kind of works because his feet will be dirty anyway. Hey. I reckon the battery is about to die. I'm guessing this, just based on my spider sense is tingling. I'm expecting the battery to die in the next 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna let this dry. And I said that I was gonna check my YouTube studio, see how close to monetization we were, because I haven't checked it in about a week or so, so I'm interested. See what we've got. Don't leave me. Like, that is not my decision to make. Let's see, where are we? So, in order to get monetization, I need... so I need 3,000 public watch hours in the past 365 days. Hang on, I think I can probably just show this on screen. Don't think there's anything here that would dox me. See if we can... Yeah, this is where we're at. Like, need basically another 450 watch hours. Like, we're getting there. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, I think this is looking decent. It's looking alright. There's definitely work to be done, like details and highlights and shadows, and then we'll do the blue and all that. But I can see it coming together. I definitely think that I can do it better, and so when we get to the other ones, we'll see if we can improve on the formula with the other little dudes, so that we can work our way up to hopefully having the recipe perfected for the big guy. But yeah, honestly, 450 watch hours. You can knock that out in like a week or two with a 12-hour video. Look, I don't need you guys to farm my stats. Like, that might help the algorithm, honestly, but I don't need you to go that far for me. I'm happy just for you guys to watch me while I'm live. But yeah, honestly, I'm probably just gonna call it here because I think the camera's gonna die again in a second anyway. We're almost at 3 hours. Shorter stream, but I think we've done some stuff. I'm happy. And tomorrow we'll probably work on the night again, see if we can smash out some of that. Yeah. So I am gonna call it here. I will catch you guys all later. Thanks for hopping by. It's been real. And yeah, we'll be back to our regular stuff that we've been working on. Oh, there it is. Right on cue. Oh man. We'll talk about timing. There. Alright. I will catch you guys later. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll see you all next time. See you tomorrow if you're available. Otherwise, I'll catch you all next week. Bye-bye.